On this part, we're going to create this small section, which is used to create a status. For that, let us navigate to the index.c# HTML. And then in here, I'm just going to collapse the section where we have everything related to the stories. We have this div, just going to close this div. And then we also have this MB8. I'm going to close that one. And down here, we're going to create another div, which is going to be used to show that section and also render all the posts in the feed view. Let us decorate this div with some CSS classes. And this class in here set the maximum width of 580 pixels on medium screens and centers the element horizontally, allows it to grow and take up available space, and also adds vertical spacing of 6 units on extra large screens and 3 units on smaller screens. Now inside this div, we are going to add another div, and this div is basically just going to have the border. Just create another div. Let's add in here some CSS classes where we're going to define the background color to be white. It's going to be rounded. It's going to have some shadow, etc. And now inside this div, we're going to add one more div. And inside this one, we're going to have 2 more divs. Now, the reason why we have so many divs is because in here, you can see that we have, like, let's say the main div. Then inside that one, we have this one that has the white background. Then we have this, what do you have in mind, which is a separate div, and also another div for the image, which is going to be just an SVG. Now, wherever you click the what do you have in mind or the image, this is going to trigger a pop-up. But right now, we're just creating this section. We're going to create a pop-up on the next one. So in here, let us first define in this div that this is going to be like a flex placeholder, and the items inside here are going to be centered. And then to the first div, let us add some CSS classes where we define things like on hover, the opacity is going to be 80%. We are going to apply a smooth transition to all properties. We're going to make it round and change the cursor to a pointer on hover. So which is this class in here, cursor pointer. And the text, what do you have in mind, is going to be defined inside another div where you can just type, what do you have in mind? Let us define the class. Let us say we want to have a PY of 2.5 units, and the text is going to be centered. Now, one more thing that we can define on this div is that we can define that we want to toggle a pop-up, so UK toggle, and this is going to target an item that has the ID create status. Let's do the same on this other div. In here, I'm going to first define some classes where I basically just change the cursor. On hover, I change the opacity and all this other stuff. And the same way, if you click this icon, I want to target the create status div, or I want to target an element which has the create status ID. And then inside this div, I'm going to use an SVG. Let us save the changes, run the app, and check the result. So down here, you can see that we have this section. And if you click in here, nothing happens. And if you click in here, nothing happens as well. What we are going to do in the next part, we are going to create the pop-up, and we're going to trigger that pop-up or that model whenever we click any of the buttons.